well. Strom Brightblade. You see a group of young men standing around a makeshift practice target. This man stands in the middle of them, explaining the construction and use of a bow. He holds it up, pointing out each part as he speaks about it and what it does. He then walks away from the target, telling them to remain where they are, and takes his place about 200 feet away. He carefully lines up his shot, explaining what he is doing as he does it, and lets the arrow fly. It hits the target dead center, much to the surprise and delight of the boys near it. He smiles, walking towards the boys, talking about proper stance and how to most effectively hold a bow. A noise comes through the tree line near their practice venue, and he stops, scanning the woods, blue eyes squinting against the sun. A shadow moves, making its way through the forest behind them. He draws an arrow and lines up the shot, carefully tracking the motion of the hidden creature. Loosing the arrow, he wastes no time and quickly grabs another. The boys spin, watching the arrows fly into the forest, immediately lost among the trees. There is sudden explosive movement in the undergrowth as deer erupts from the tree line, running across the edge of the clearing. The boys laugh, turning to joke with the man about his lousy shot. They stop talking, seemingly holding the bow and leading the deer with a knocked arrow. They drop to the ground as he looses this last arrow, which flies true and strikes the deer right behind his shoulder, piercing heart and lungs and dropping it dead immediately. The boys stare at the deer for a few seconds, then slowly turn to look at the man, newfound respect in their eyes. He smiles again and breathes a quiet sigh of relief. Oh, that's cute. Oh, thank God I didn't fuck up in front of the boys. Woo! What's that story you told again, with the tall fellow and the wee lass? Grab a drink, friend. Not much else of worth in this town, says a woman from Thane. Hey, we said we wouldn't mention Thane. Okay. Hello. Please, leave me be. I'm full of sickness with what I've seen of this place and its people. Fair enough. Very much fair enough. Well, there's no one here.
Yes.
I shan't be seeing anything going on in this room.
Keeping an eye out. It's finished.
You got a rapier, padded armor, and a duelist hat. Yoink! Over here. Ooh, a book. The Deerwood. No other land has such a wild and bloody recent history as the Deerwood. From colony to Palatinate to Free Republic, the Deerwood has undergone a trial by fire to emerge as a powerful force of the Eastern Reach. Deerwood's history actually begins in Aedir in 2602 AI, after... Aedir explorers returned from a journey across the ocean with tales of the treasures they'd found. They discovered countless ruins scattered through the forests, as well as plains to the north of the trees that would be perfect for growing Vorlers. There was a problem, however. The locals were hostile and there were potential for conflicts. The Faerkoning of Aedir, first king, knew that this was too good for an opportunity to pass up and sent more explorers to scout and map the area. Exploration continued over the next 20 years. Small groups of explorers traveled back and forth between Aedir and this new world, with a handful of colonists setting up small camps to establish a base for the explorers to work out of. Conflicts with the locals, who the Deer has learned are called the Glenfathans. So this is the Deerwood. I keep on forgetting. I'm not very good with history. I'm even less good with fantasy history. This is why I'm trying to read more, so I can learn more, so I can really get good at the history here of Pillars of Eternity. Conflict with the Glenfathans was rare, but frequent enough the Faerkoning, the lead king, the high king, the first king, to send a small squadron of guards to help protect his citizens. These guards established a central base on a river in the western section of the woods. The settlement would eventually become the city of Dereford, upon which the modern-day village of the same name is presently built. Once that base was established, the first permanent Aediran settlements began north and west of the Bale River. Over the next 3 years, thousands of Aedirans made the trek from Aedir to this new land. The Glenfathans, who seemed to revere the ruins scattered through the forest, caused a few problems with some of the settlements, especially those founded near the ruins themselves. That's a bad idea. These were easily taken care of by the colonists with the help of the Imperial Guard. The Aedirans, in order to further their footholds in the area, reduced the cost of production, and in an attempt to keep the Glenfathan population under control, started making slaves out of any Glenfathans captured during the uprisings. This resulted in a great increase in tension between the two groups. Surprise fucking surprise, slavery turns out to be problematic. With the population of the area growing, an official governmental structure was established by the Ferkening. He appointed several Earls to preside over the land and assigned them Thanes to help run their territories. And they called the new Grefam, the Deerwood. The new Grefam would be what, like a state in this? Yeah, I think so. Derriford remained the centre of the Imperial Guard, but the settlement in Palewell Gulf, New Derriford, was the true seat of power for the area. Sitting at the edge of the coast, forest, fertile farmland, and a river that runs from the coast to the White Marsh, settlers flocked to the area, hoping to establish names for themselves. Adir began to spread across the new land. Cool. And very handily, there's some lockpicks too. So we'll just drop them into your inventory. You are going to need them. This is why having a rogue is handy. It makes it easy to justify stealing. This hound stares intently at the covered window, head cocked, as if waiting to hear a particular sound. It looks up when you approach and whines a low note, tail wagging slightly. Oh, pet's a dog. The dog's tail thumps happily against the floorboards. Who would be outside the window? Barbarians have many abilities that deal with lots of people at once. So be right here. So what's he listening for? Oh dear. He must wait at this window for his owner to come up the stairs, across the walkway, and in the door. And that's when he's, that's what he's still waiting for. I hope he's not dead. Feels like we've been seeing more bandits along the roads of late. And I told her, that's not the pistol! Oh my god. Ha! Okay, so pistols are in the world. I believe... Poor Offro is so worried about her child. I don't blame her. Used to have a lot more fortune tellers come through. Lord Raedric had to chase them off. What was I saying? Something about guns! Yes, there are guns. Don't get to start with a gun, but I'm pretty sure we'll be able to find one later. And if not, then we can in Pillars of Eternity 2. Because I know that. Because I've bought and played a little bit of that. And then went, I suppose I better go back and play. You hear the bells? Bad news, I think. And what's in here? Stick my nose into everyone's houses. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Sorry. Got it in my throat. A wooden woman is standing in front of the fireplace, humming a quiet tune to herself, perhaps to her unborn child, for she is clearly quite pregnant. She turns her head slightly as you enter.
Hello.
Well, finally, I was starting to think... the woman makes a startled noise once she turns around and sees you. Oh, I'm sorry. I was expecting someone else. Can I help you? Nice cat. Oh, thank you. She's a sweetheart. Keeps the house clear of mice, too. I just arrived in Gilded Vale. I thought I'd get to know the locals. Were you with one of the caravans? Must there are demons, by chance? Why do you ask? My sister, Kaliska, is travelling with one of the caravans. She sent a letter before she came. Said she was going to pay her way by working as a guard for the caravan master. She always was a tough one. I don't suppose you've seen her on the road? Or the caravan, perhaps? It's Master of Demons. That was with that caravan. I'm afraid the rest of the caravan was killed. Orfra covers her mouth with a hand, eyes wide with horror. For a few moments she can manage nothing but a strangled, voiceless gasping, her eyes brimming with tears. I knew. I told her it was a dangerous path to take. Kaliska was always so certain she could take on any danger. Oh, my dear sister. I'm sorry, stranger. I can't believe she's gone. If only I hadn't called her here. If I hadn't written to her. She might still be alive somewhere. His face crumples, and a solitary tear slides down her cheek. Why did... No. Kaliska mentioned that she thought you needed help. Perhaps I can provide some assistance? Fro looks at you with surprise before dabbing at her nose with a sleeve. That's kind of you to offer, but Oh, I don't know if I could oppose this on you. It's not a small favor. I'm worried about the baby, about the legacy. I told Kaliska as much as I could, but all I know is that for a long time now, every child born in Gilded Vale has been soulless, empty. It's happened to so many mothers, and Lord Raedric, he's exiled all of them, calling it a sign of the gods' disfavour. As my Hathor at dawn, I don't know how I'd manage if I lost my home too. I hoped Kaliska could help me. They say Ranga, the old midwife, knows a way to prevent a child being hollowborn, but she moved south to Anslog's Compass 2 seasons ago. The journey's too far for me, but I can't make it as I am. But I don't have anyone else now with Kaliska gone. Please, can you help me? I'll find Ranga for you. Offer, please. You will? Oh, God's bless you. Here, I'll give you coin to pay her with. You needn't trouble yourself with that. I think it's a drink she fashions out of well, I'm not sure. It shouldn't be too much of a burden to carry back. Anslog's Compass is what we call the lagoon to the south. You'll have to cross the wilds to get there. That's what keeps me from trying it myself. Thank you again, truly. You'll be saving against both. Woof. Right, quest, A Mother's Plea. This worn, dog-eared book is titled Travels Upon the Kelglass Sea. There is an etched illustration of a vast, finned leviathan. Let's not steal our food. Let's go pat our cat and then leave. Death god like I am, friendly to all cats and dogs, all friendly animals, yeah. Zlox, the usurper. You see a lone man standing in a field. He looks around, surveying the crops. Occasionally, he bends to examine a leaf up close. He is intent on what he is doing, completely absorbed in his work. This man approaches him from behind. He moves slowly, but does nothing to mask his approach. In his hand, he holds a large sword. There appears to be no malice or hatred in the man's demeanor. He almost seems pleased. The first man hears his approach and stands, turning away from the plant he was inspecting. His face breaks into a smile, and he opens his arms to welcome the approaching man. The smile freezes into a grimace as the second man thrusts the sword through his stomach, its blade now protruding from his back. His arms slowly fall to his side, and blood starts to drip from the sword onto the plants below the men. As the first man crumples to his knees, the second pulls the sword out, a tear slowly falling down the cheek of his still smiling face. Ugh! Mind control or insanity! Yeah, either one. Clink. You see a small group of people gathered around the ruins of a house. The destruction continues out from the single dwelling through the entire village. Not a single building still stands, and rubble is scattered. One of the men in the group leans over something in the debris. It is this man, younger, barely more than a boy. The man reaches out and shakes the boy by the shoulder. The boy makes no sound, doesn't respond to the man's disturbance. The man looks up at the other members of the group and shrugs, standing to rejoin his friends. The boy suddenly sits up, eyes wide. He scrabbles backward away from the group, looking around in horror. The group moves towards him in unison, eliciting a yelp from the boy who tries to move further away. A woman in the group puts out her hands, stopping the rest. She turns to them reproachfully, motions for them to stay, and looks at the boy on the ground, who's trying to push himself through what remains of a wall. He seems unaware he has even stopped. The woman slowly moves towards the boy, hands out, speaking in a low, calming tone. For a time, the boy doesn't even hear. He just closes his eyes and braces himself against the wall, expecting violence. Eventually, the woman's words work through the fear, and he hears her. He opens his tear-filled eyes and stares at her. She holds out a hand to him. He looks at it, seeming confused by the offer, then hesitantly reaches out. She takes his hand in hers and leans down to help him stand. Aww. Oh, we all done up here? Yeah, we're all done up here. Let's head back down, spending time, cause we don't really have anything to do or look at or see or anything like that. Let's go, 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 go. I'm going to go back up north. I didn't actually do anything in the north. I just came straight down and straight into the town, so there is some stuff in Velwood that I want to check out. It's going to take 8 hours to get back there, so it's not exactly a quick hop and hop. But we're still going to go through with it. Hopefully there's no time and horrible things. Stash can now only be accessed by resting. Damn thing. Come on.
Welcome.
This man appears to be hurriedly dismantling his camp in quick, jerky movements. He looks up as you approach, his expression tense and drawn. Greetings! On your way south, is it? He wipes his brow, turning to face you. The sooner you're clear of these woods, the better, I think. What's your hurry? The man looks down at the tent, then at his hands. I mean to follow my own advice. Came out here on a hunt. Me and a friend of mine thought we'd bring a stag home, eat something other than bread for once. Come up on a bear instead. Great, monstrous thing. And Pearly, he didn't make it. Shakes his head. I don't know what to tell his wife. In any case, this forest already cost me a friend. I'm heading home before it takes anything else. What happened to your friend? Well, we didn't see it coming. His voice shakes a little as he speaks. We were following a stag. Barely, he saw something in the brambles, and we went tearing off after it. We all but stumbled into the cave. Poor Pearly didn't stand a chance. The bear was on top of him before we knew what was happening. The beasts will take what they will, I suppose. And this time, Gallowayne's favour fell upon the bear. In any case, this forest already cost me a friend. Where is this bear? In a cave, up ways that way. Wouldn't seek it out if only I were you. It's a great brute of a beast. Would hate to hear that it took another life. And who are you? Name's Naunton. Born and raised in Gilded Vale. Haven't had a spot of luck since. Luckier than Pearly, I suppose. Very well. We shall go investigate this bear. Bear ass. Magnificent bear ass. The grass is still flattened behind the wagon's wheels. Barrels of cabbages, potatoes, and squash have been overturned and abandoned. Abandoned, you say? Yoink. If I give this to you, sir, can you learn this spell? Probably not.
Aye?
Aye? Can I, like, click Grimoire? Hello. It'll cost 100 copper for our loss to learn Kallakarth's Sunless Grasp. I see. Interesting. What? Oh, what? Ah, there's your grimoire. Okay. Can I drag the scroll onto your grimoire? No. How do scrolls work? How do grimoires work? Help me! Oh. So it seems that his book, alright, his book definitely contains, Alath doesn't know Kallakarth's Sunless Grasp. If you erase it from this grimoire, you won't be able to describe it again. Yes, so his grimoire has Kallakarth's Sunless Grasp. He knows these spells off by heart. Let's grab Dazzling Lights. Sounds good. Ah, we can only have one copy of each spell, of course, because you can use the spell slots on anything. It's like being a sorcerer, but only with four particular spells. Jolting Touch and Middletta's Minor Missiles. So in his grimoire, you can edit his grimoire. Or, yes, he can cast 3 different level 1 spells. Oh, but none of them appear to be... Okay. Editing my knowledge again. He cannot cast Kallakarth's Sunless Grasp at all, but it is written in his book, so he could learn it for 100 copper. Now he has learnt it. Now he can cast it. The caster's hands become so cold as to freeze what they touch. Does freeze damage to a target and reduces its accuracy. It is... It looks to be melee touch.
I shall.
Oh, hello.
Lavaru beyond seek. Lavaru beyond seek.
Okay, he's used all his spells. That was quick. Does it get them back? No, of course not. Fine. Got that. Let's get going. I might have to change it later so that they don't cast spells willy-nilly if they're going to be at rest. On rest spells. I don't plan on resting that often. Just a lot. Hello, bear ass cave. And there we have our bear ass. Oh yes, I haven't actually done your AI yet. Aggressive, use power rest abilities, and aggressive. Cautious. There we go.
Well,
Ow! Holy shit! Bays, ow! Heal. And heal again. Ow! There we go. Back to full health. Ow! And less than half. Second wind. Oh, healing. Oh yes. Lay on hands to heal over time. Whoops. Forgot about that. But he's dead. Hey, we're fine. For 5 seconds. Oh, no. Oh, I see. No, it's not exactly a... Okay, never mind. Bear hide. Woo! Mice crawl through eye sockets and over femurs. And we get a spear! Oh, delightful. So cute. Cave coral! And his dear friend. Oh dear. A figure drifts, suspended in the musty air of the cavern. Its form and features blur and twist in cascading ripples of incandescence. You feel its energy eddying about your limbs, filling them with a heavy chill. Reach out. You reach out a hand for the spirit. In the moment of contact, you feel as if you have been struck a blow, head reeling as you tumble helplessly into a waiting darkness. Light blooms at the edges of your vision. You feel the sun at your back and the weight of a bow in your hand. You know, suddenly, you have come a long way from the Vale, hunting deer. Now, you are standing before a cavern, and the darkness extends far into its depths. Even so, your friend strides out before you, his red cloak flapping at his heels. You follow, heart hammering in your chest, as he leads you deeper into the cavern. There is a roar like thunder echoing around you. Fear seizes you, casts you stumbling back towards the exit, towards light and escape. You see a glint of steel, and there is a sudden, terrible flash of agony behind your knee. You scream, stumble, fall. Your thoughts are chaos, lanced through with pain. In a moment of terrible clarity, you see your friend look back from the mouth of the cavern, his dagger daubed in crimson to match his cloak. And then there is a great, dark shape above you. And then there is more pain. The vision recedes, and you are thrown back into yourself with seemingly resentful force. The corpse lies at your feet, and the spectre lingers. In the span of energy between you both, you feel a sense of questioning, of confusion, of anger. I met him on the road. Your friend. A sudden, lashing anger emanates from the spirit. Rage and grief seem to pour from the gleaming figure like smoke. I'll find him, and see that he answers what he's done to you. For a moment, the spirit seems to burn bright, and your head fills with a sickly triumph. The spirit seems to weaken with the force of its own exultation, growing fainter and fainter, until you are alone once more. Aloth looks at you through narrowed eyes. Are you alright? You seemed lost just now. Yes, I'm fine. Felt his arms. That's good to know, but I don't suppose you could tell me what that was all about. I'm not really sure. It's just recently started happening. Indeed. At the risk of sounding patronizing, you should probably have that examined. It's a shame that Lord Raedrix hanged half of Gilded Vale. The Valian dwarf might have known something about your condition. Yes, let's continue on. Vengeance from the grave. Let's go revenge your spirits on this guy who killed him for no reason. But I bet there's a reason, 'cause everybody kills for dies for a reason. I haven't killed people. What was Zorup camp? Oh, bollocks. Move ahead. You will start casting. You have no use of that left. You start casting here. Nice shot. Cast again here. And then again. In there. Go on. Yes. Spells. Sorry, is his... Is his wand permanently AoE? Is that what's changed about his attack? Scepter. Ah, scepter. Ah, I see. It's not a thingy. C. Yes. Arcane Assault. No, that's not it. What did I get him? Disadvantage? No. Blast! Passive! Oh my god, yes! AoE against enemies. Oh, that's handy. That's very handy for me. I'll just stand in front of them and you blast them all. Alright. Let's strip them of their tongues. And leave the rest. As for you, it is unfortunate of your death. Cool, so that's that done. Looks like there's something still over here. Let's go investigate over here. Maybe... there's still something over here, too. Let's go check that out. Onward, dear brothers and sister. I am huge! And a little bit of moss. That's all! God damn it. Alright, down here. Let's go. Explore everything before we move on. And we're gonna go back to the town that we were just at. Oh dear. What have we got over here? And a touch more salt. Tenfrith. The young dwarf tending to the stew looks up, startled as you approach. He drops his ladle, spattering stew across the ground. What? The bandit turns. Get in, you dogs! Make sure our new cook doesn't run off. Help! Please! Help! Ah! One of the bandits gives Tenfrith a kick as they pass him and he huddles. Oh my god. Alright. You have a weapon. You have a weapon. Let's get some blasting magic over there.
How may I help?
Uh-oh. Disengage! Run away! You good, you good, you good. Cast. Ow.
I shall deal with
Dead. Ah.
Good day to you.
By the flame, thank you, thank you, thank you. I thought I'd be stuck cooking for these ignorant weasels for the rest of my life. Or until they were bored with me, I suppose. Did Pasca send you? Sure, she must be beside herself. I must get back at once. But listen, the next time you're in Gilded Vale, make sure to drop by the Black Hound. I'll let her know what you've done for me, and I'm sure she'll do right for you in turn. Oh, to be back at my oven again. Well, we've just accidentally rescued the cook that I completely forgot about. Whoops. Common banditry. Nothing really on them. Yeah, I'll follow that. But their supplies now. I'm happy to take their supplies. The tent is empty, but for a pair of stained cots and the stink of unwashed bodies. Oh, goody. All that good stuff. And all that good stuff. Veggies. Always an important part of the adventurer diet is veggies. I should put on this cloak of protection that I completely forgot about. Ooh.
Yes?
Dear, there's a corpse up there. Oh, and I've been stuck. There we go. Wolf. Goodbye. Goodbye. Ow, ow. This is working out quite nicely. One of them has been blocked off. Jesus. Judging by the amount of damage I'm taking from these guys, I am amazed that the bear ass was doing so much damage. Just remove their pelts. Aha! These aged walls appear to have once encircled this entire glade. Only a small fragment remains, and the stairs leading to the top of the structure have crumbled away. A few bricks are slick with moss, presenting a hindrance to climbing, but the stones themselves seem sturdy enough. Given the right tools, one might easily reach the top. Ha! Tools! Scale the wall. The crumbling wall is of a considerable height, even now, and its uneven surface proves a difficult climb. Who will scale it? Not me. You find a handhold upon one of the large stones and start to pull yourself up. But the uneven bricks and odd angle of ascent make the climb difficult. After a short distance, your arms begin to burn too fiercely. You are forced to drop back down to the ground. Oh, shit. Ascend Eloth. Yep. Let's send Viscosa Rulstarter. Nope. Too hard. We need proper tools. Fine. Proper tools it is. I really should get used to muting the mic during that. Apologies. Aha! His friend has gone, leaving a folded note. My dear Nunton, please be safe. Know that whatever happens, I love you still. Evidence! My greatest ally. I don't think we can actually go north up this way, but we'll check it just in case, although I fear it will loop straight back to where it came from. We can go back to Celantis. But it's a 6-hour trip and there's nothing back there.